Greetings, mortals. Welcome back to me still not having shaved after several days.
Look, I don't have air conditioning. How could I possibly shave? I went to go buy an air conditioning unit yesterday, and it's going to take 2 weeks. It's going to take 2 weeks before we get AC. So everything is insane in this house right now. It is total madness. Total madness. How is that related to me not having shaved? Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I don't understand the question. How could I possibly shave if it's warm? It's warm in here. How to shave? Now, do I shave in a room that isn't air conditioned anyway? Absolutely. Again, I do not understand. Okay. Let's do the thing. We are going to this. We are going to Twitch. We are going to this. We are going to Control C. We are going to close. I hope that I hit C. Control V. Look at that. We hit the right buttons. Hey, Astro Kitty Celestial and Tozier Cat. I'm looking even more scruffy than usual. We need this open because we need to go to info and links. We need to pick up the non-stable MAW version 2 days ago. That's the exact time that could be an issue. Let's see. It's basically the exact amount of time where it's like, oh, I don't actually have the ability to identify whether I'm up to date or not, because it depends on when 2 days ago it was. Let's see here. So yes, today we are going to finish up Murmur Woods and probably do some other stuff. Things are going pretty well, I think. Yeah, like yesterday was not yesterday. It's yesterday to me. If I don't stream, then it's the same day, right? Also, I'm in a vacuum of time that cannot be comprehended. It's so hard for me to sleep without air conditioning now. When I was younger, I didn't sleep, so actually I don't have the ability to say when I was younger it didn't matter as much. Actually, you know what? It didn't matter as much when I was younger because I wasn't sleeping at night anyway, so I'm now realizing that the insomnia is in fact influenced by the lack of air conditioning in a way that I wasn't aware of not as a kid. I was 20, but when I first moved to Singapore, unusual. In what way? God, that feels good. Look, I have been talking about how overpowered spellcasters are for so long, and it's very funny that the spellcaster run is going this well, and it's even funnier that I'm saying spellcasters are overpowered here as evidence my dragon just instigated that thing. And a dragon is not what people classically think of when they think of spellcasters. Look, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. The point stands. We do, in fact, have to save. This is wild to me. I'm going to have to get used to that. I've been playing... I was a teenage exocolonist instead of this.
Who wants some?
That's a 3,500 damage hit. I'm going to have to keep an eye on my damage output. Okay, let's take a look at I'm kind of curious because I was just talking about damage numbers. This is the right thing. Yeah, Goose is doing pretty decent damage. Mine is doing way more damage this map than I would have expected. Actually, like way more damage. Why is Mina damage so high? So, you know, never mind. You know, casters are demonstrating their worth. They're keeping up with a dragon who's literally able to instigate an AoE somehow. And by they, I do mean just Mina. And by they, I mean just the one. It is interesting that I'm gonna have to talk to Malekith about that at some point, I think. Because... oh, shit. I didn't see you there. Why? Okay. He's just dead. There's... so, something that I realized is that Elementalists automatically get Ascension levels built up over time. And I'm actually curious if that's the right play for them. Because over time I've been noticing that like they're accumulating stacks on Mina doesn't feel that impactful. And I think that if the goal is for the stacks mechanic to be like kind of one of the defining features of the Elementalist, moving some of the damage out of Ascension and into the stacks is probably a good idea. So that it's like, it feels like more of a loss to not be accumulating stacks. How did we get hit by none of that? That's a good question. You know, I'm also glad I didn't put Murmur in the title because I knew that Murmur looked wrong, and I'm now realizing that I put an O in the second U, and that is not correct. It is a U. Misspelling Murmur in the title would not be the optimal way to do it. But yeah, I don't actually know. Let's take a look at how much EXP we have. Oh shit! We need to leave. So the plan is that we're going to leave now. We're done with Murderwood for now, actually. Right? Is that correct? So shit. I need to make decisions. No. Why is life like this? Why do I have to make decisions? So we're going back to Might Magic 6, and we're doing something there. Where were we in 6? We finished Parasite Valley. Wait, have we not finished Garrick's Forge? Didn't we do Garrick's Forge? Okay. I was gonna say, like, if we haven't done Garrick's Forge, that's so long ago that I should have done that. Okay. Oh right, we were doing Silver Cove. Okay, so we're heading to Silver Cove. Can we fly here? Probably not, because that would be too kind and generous. Let's see. Anything else that has to happen here in Silver Cove? I imagine this isn't going to be too bad. Yes, as the only person who has ever done a meme. The only person who has ever performed a meme. As the kids say. Okay, these are melees. No, you need to die. Okay, so the hard part here is going to be protecting the guards. Okay, maybe the hard part isn't protecting the guards, actually.
I don't know.
Maybe the hard part is not dying.
I'm hurt. family. Who wants some?
Who hit me? Wait, who just hit me? How did you die? How did you die? How did you die? The enemy was... You know, Malekith might have lied to us. Because Malekith did say that Chain Lightning it only is a thing when the player uses it on monsters, but I think that we just got Chain Lightened. I think that's correct. That makes the most sense as an interpretation of what just happened. We're actually going to... I was keeping an eye on where the others were. I wasn't really paying that close of attention to... Like, I really need to... I need to save in Silver Cove. This is very silly. Okay. I'm coming back every time. Interesting. Okay. You know, we are not killing them as fast as I was led to believe I would, based off of the previous engagement. Let's try to stay away from them. There we go. All clear. We're not going to be able to do this without the guards getting involved at all, because they're just extremely close to this pack. This pack is right on top of this guard. But, like, I think they're within aggro range of the guard immediately. With that being said, we should be able to get this next pack without getting the guards involved. Just go this way, so that when they are approaching us, they're approaching where I want them to. Okay, maybe it'll be harder to get so that the guards getting involved than I thought. Please. Oh, you know what? I should probably be AoEing that. Okay. I deserve to die there a little bit. Kind of a little bit deserve to die, you know. So it's all good. It's all good. Okay, give me 1 second. I'm actually gonna. Let's just ask about this if Malekith shows up. Any tasty new legendaries? That's a good question. I mean, presumably yes, because I think I made one. Oh, you missed a few streams? Yes. Does not elaborate further. Okay. So we did make this. So... Oh, and we didn't identify any of our gear last stream, so we should probably do that. Let's see here. So, let's see if I can find my old gauntlets. in my inventory somewhere. I think it was these. So this is what I had before. I swapped them for this. So we have 4,000. We have 1,900. This is more than doubling the. Oh, that's the melee. So 5,800 to 10k. It's delightful. It's delightful. So the reason that we made this legendary is that when we were doing the whatchamacallit, the Naga dungeon, I had come up with the very clever idea of knocking my entire party unconscious and having the vampire who can cast Mist Form to become immune to physical damage. Don't remember that tooltip that I just right-clicked on. Allow them to deal with everything, because everything in the dungeon does physical damage. Blades is a physical damage spell, and they deal physical damage with their hits, right? So it's like, okay, I can be immune to all their attacks. Couple of problems with that. The first problem... This reduces physical damage by 75% now. It is not 100% damage reduction, so oops. Second, for some reason, when enemies cast blades, it's not physical damage, it's earth damage. So, as a result of the various problems that we ran into while we were doing the dungeon, we couldn't cheese it in that way. So what I did was I stood outside the dungeon and said, okay, we need to make a legendary. And making that legendary allowed us to one-shot all of the Naga in the dungeon if we crit. Which meant that we could wipe entire packs of Naga out. Yeah, I have to do more testing with it, because it felt like it was negating 100% of the damage sometimes and not others, and I need confirmation. Actually, I could do the confirmation now, because these are purely physical enemies, and so I can just save the game and then get everybody else killed, and see what happens to my vampire. Because I did notice that, like, I got poisoned but didn't take a single point of damage. So it's possible the tooltip is just incorrect, and it does still give 100% damage protection. And I just needed to...
I'm hurt! Now you see.
Okay, so it looks like the tooltip is wrong. This still grants 100% immunity. It was just the Blades spell that was killing us, because Blades is not doing physical damage like it's supposed to. Okay, so that's it. The strategy would have actually worked if not for the fact that the enemies I was dealing with did not actually do exclusively physical damage, because Blades is earth damage when the enemies use it. Because... Watch 2 die. I was paying attention to nobody but the vampire. I saw nothing. So yes. So if you run into a situation where you have exclusively physical damage incoming, you can actually just make your vampire immune to it completely. That's really good information to have available. Like, just knowing that is huge. So, I'm glad that I just tested that, because for outdoor maps, it's easier to just loot immediately, because they're outdoor maps. So it's a huge pain to just try to travel to everything. I don't wait on looting on outdoor maps. It's not one of the rules that I have to do that. I just like doing it for dungeons because it's fun to do. I don't think it's fun to do for outdoor areas, so I don't do it. I started doing it. I've been leaning more and more toward it for like a while. I think this might be the first run that I'm doing it consistently, where I just don't loot until I finish the dungeon. But I do it periodically. I jump in and out of it. But I'm not planning on doing it with exterior maps, just because I don't think that it's a good usage of my time. Go. So Silver Cove is going pretty dang smooth, actually. We're able to pretty much one-shot the enemies. So, you know, that's always convenient. Let's deal with some of these druids over here. Okay. That wipes the entire enemy pack. Okay, I need to get out of here. Let's cast Fly. Go. Whoa, shit. I made a mistake. It's fine, though. Alright, we're gonna go save. I didn't clear that section out. Alright, so we're saving the game. It actually probably makes the most sense to just pull these across the river and deal with them here before I try to deal with those druids, just so I have more space to play with. Like, it doesn't take that long for them to fly across the river. Okay. Easy peasy. And we've got the dragon things dealt with. I will check my loot if my inventory fills, maybe, or when I finish the dungeon, or when I finish the dungeon, when I finish whatever dungeon I do first. Fine, it's fine. Everything is fine. Don't worry about it. Okay, we can save this. Okay. Save the game. And then pop back down here. How are you feeling? You're feeling very, very fine. I hope so too, because I have heard of these things, and I still have never seen one. I really hope that you're not poisoned. Okay. Okay, we have players attacking us from behind. I should probably just cast Levitate, huh? You know, I'm not gonna lie. I think vampires are great, actually. I feel like for a while I was like, it's kind of weird that they don't get, like, disarm and stuff like that. Like, they don't get disarm at a decent level, and, like, they don't have, like, a lot of the utility skills that rogues have, and I found that a little strange. And Levitate and Mistform are real good. They're real good. Those are real good skills. So, you know what? I don't think... And, you know, they also have, like, mastery, and, like, vampires are real good. That is a good... That is a good class. Whew. like, I believe rogues do a little bit more melee damage, because I think rogues get GM now for Arms Master. So I think they do a little bit more pure melee damage. 6 from 8. But pretty good, pretty good. Oh yeah. Well, I already knew about that. I have a tendency to always have a vampire in the party just for Levitate. But you can also just have, like, a vampire as the race and still get access to Levitate. So it's nice to have somebody do that. But it doesn't necessarily be the class. Yeah, that's not optimal. The monster classes are like very strange. In 8, and which is the only game that they're in. So. Yeah, the unique utility of Levitate is definitely enough for me to always have the desire to bring a vampire in every party. It's just such a cool benefit. Oh wait, are you just casting Implosion? I just realized that I'm just spamming Implosion over and over again. You'd think I would have noticed earlier, but you'd be foolish to think that I recognize things. Okay. There we go. Easy peasy. A little bit, just slightly cheesy. Bum, 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 bum. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with how this party's come together. I think that this party has come together quite nicely, and like, how are we doing on damage for here now? Yeah, mine is still ahead, which is very interesting and surprising, honestly. Just spamming Implosion, not doing any AoE at all. Doing very effectively. Let's see.
No room, no room. I have too much.
Oh, we're getting close to the point where we're gonna actually identify all that stuff from yesterday. So, you know, we might have already gotten some legendaries yesterday. Speaking of shiny, whatchamacallits? Speaking of shiny legendaries that we obtained in previous streams. We don't even know if we found a shiny legendary last stream. I'm very happy we finished the Nagash Stronghold. That's exciting to me. That's a very difficult dungeon, so being able to get through that is that right there is a green flag, as the kids are saying these days. Because that's definitely contextually how the kids are using green flag. That's definitely the right situation. We're at 50%-ish. Let's see. But yeah, if they ever made it so that Vampire Fire Levitate works in the other two games, that's gonna go crazy in places like Garrick's Forge. Like, there's just so many interesting things that you could do if you had the ability to walk on lava that would just be very fun to explore. Ice Ball just hit for 8,000? Wait, when did you become a god? Actually? What the fuck just happened? I was just talking up how much damage Life Drain does. You can't do me like this. Oh shit.
We've done it.
Can't do this to me. Can't do it to me. Okay, that was a crazy amount of damage from that Ice Bolt. No wonder mine is doing really well. Like, we are actually in a very strong position here. What are you casting? You're casting Dragon Growth. I think that's fine. That's a reasonable thing to cast at range. Save? Why would we save? Who needs saves? Save the game. Look, anytime you do anything, right before you do the thing, it saves the game. Don't you know this? I'm playing I Was a Teenage Exocolonist, right? That's the game I'm streaming. Man, that game is so good. I have been enjoying myself so much with I Was a Teenage Exocolonist. It makes sense because the game has an excellent name. It's extremely memorable and very cool. Like, I really like the name of the game. So it makes sense that the game would be awesome, because when is a game ever going to have a good name and not be amazing? And I don't think it's ever happened. And the other thing that's really cool about it is that the game is fucking full of puns. And that is delightful. I love me a pun. You give me puns. Okay, you might think, okay, it's finally time to do the inventory stuff. It's time. Ark's gonna be forced to do it, and you would be incorrect. We're not checking. We have a quick fix, and we keep going. Yeah, it's a game with a strong pun game. Like, very strong. There's puns all over that motherfucker. It is beautiful. And actually, the art style is also beautiful. But yeah, good game. It's like a time management game. So if the thing that you find most exciting about the Persona games is not the turn-based combat system, but instead the... Okay, it's June 27th. What am I going to do today? Okay, so for the afternoon time slot, I need to do this and that, but I need to juggle, doing this thing. I need to get this relationship boosted up enough to do this thing. But I also need to study because I have a test coming up, and if I don't if that's the thing you love most about Persona, which is that is the thing that I love the most about Persona, then yeah, this game's for you. It's good. It's got a strong pun game. It's got a good theme to it. It has a mechanic to it that is absolutely delightful and I love, and I will not go further into the mechanic, but it has like a twist to the gameplay that is very cool and very impressive, and I'm very happy that they have it. The game does not advertise the mechanic directly, but the way that it comes up naturally during the gameplay. It's done very well. Really quite happy with it, top to bottom. Been having a great time. So yeah, so that's the thing that's happening. We still haven't had to loot yet. How much EXP do we have? We have 2 levels worth of experience, so we'll be able to train soon. We'll basically train once we get to the appropriate time period. Okay. Ooh, nice. We got a Scouring Pearl. And we can move on. Spoilers, Celestial spoilers. Oh God, it was so bad yesterday. Buying an AC is absolutely infuriating. Okay, so like, there's a specific component of my neurodivergence that I find, or maybe it's just me being a boomer. I don't know. I don't care, but like, I find it incredibly frustrating to have grown up in the time period that I did, where there was like an expectation of quality, and everyone pretended that everything was getting better, and that illusion was like something that was reinforced by the fact that a lot of things were objectively getting better. Like, computer hardware is an example of something that was just massively just improving by leaps and bounds throughout the course of my life. The sort of like enshittification of real spaces and real life has been like a particular problem for me. But like, when I was buying this fucking air conditioner, like, it was just such a nightmare dealing with the whole fucking thing, because you know that like representatives of companies will just straight up tell you to your face that the thing that you're buying is worse than the thing that you already have, but you have no choice but to buy the new thing that's worse because they don't make the good stuff anymore. Like, they'll say that to your face now. Like, boomers have always said that, right? Like, that's a thing that boomers have always said, they don't build it like they used to, right? That's a thing people have said. Like, consumers have said. The company representatives will just flat out tell you, okay, so look, the thing that you're replacing is the same product as the product that we're replacing it with. However, I should warn you in advance that the thing that lasted 13 years and could have lasted for 20 that you purchased, this replacement, you're lucky if it lasts for 7. And they just say that to your face. You'll be lucky if this thing lasts half as long as the thing that already lasted for half of its expected lifespan. That's a fucking crazy thing for a salesperson to tell you. And they tell you that because they want to sell you a warranty, right? Like, they're trying to sell you a warranty. But, like, it's madness. The other thing that's crazy is that they have, like, a new model that, like, connects to your Wi-Fi. Your AC connects to your fucking Wi-Fi. Madness. Which is also funny because I had just seen a thing. I don't even remember where I saw it even. It was something about dishwashers. Dying of heat because the Wi-Fi is down. Literally. Like, actually, though. I think it was like a YouTube video I was recommended or something that was about washing machines. And I don't know why I was recommended it. Because I just don't remember. I haven't said washing machine in front of any of my microphones anytime recently. I mean, now I have a bunch of times, so I'm going to get a lot of washing machine recommendations on YouTube now. But anyway, I was watching this video. This guy's talking about how like he bought not a washing machine, a dishwasher. I will never stop calling all of those things washing machines because they are all machines that wash things. Okay, just don't judge me. Okay, we got hit by the fireball, and like the video's talking about, this guy's talking about how like the washing machine, the dishwasher, is controlled by your phone, and the device can't be made to do a bunch of the cycles without installing their app and then making an account with their cloud service in order to enable access to like basic wash cycles. Like if you want to do like an eco wash or you want to do a rinse, like really basic things that have been around for a long time, you need to be the product, right? Well, so here's the thing, Tozier Cat. They do need to be connected to the internet because you are not the customer, you are the product. They are selling your information, so they need it to connect to the internet because otherwise they can't grab your information and sell it to third parties. Every company is an information broker now, right? There's an old adage, internet adage, of like, if you're not paying for it, you're not the customer, you're the product. That adage is no longer true, except it's true technically, but it's also true that if you are paying for it, you are still the product, right? That's the thing. Okay, now I'm actually going to read what Raphael said. Deja is vehicle conversion. Wait, you can't jump a battery anymore? Like, you can't do a car jump? That's crazy. That's actually wild. Because, like, I've only done it once in my life, but, like, the idea that, like, that you couldn't... The idea that you can't jump your car is, like... And this is maybe slight hyperbole, but that's, like, end of civilization type shit, right? Like, that's a huge problem. Like, that's crazy. So it's like you can get it to recharge with enough charge that you'll be able to, like, get it to turn on a few times. So you can get it to a dealership where they'll sell you a new battery. Oh man, that is... Considering how bad batteries are for the environment on like so many levels, where it's like, okay, yeah, we want to be minimizing the usage of batteries. The idea that there would be like a God, what? Like, I guess it's tied to planned obsolescence, but I'm just going to call it enshittification because that's an enshittification thing right there. But like, the idea that there would be enshittification of specifically like, oh yeah, let's make it so that customers have to buy more car batteries. Oof. Yeah, I mean, all that slave labor really does make things cheaper, huh? Car batteries should not be that cheap.
Yes. We've
You know, look. As long as we can continue enslaving the children in the mines, it's just more efficient to do that. That's real bad. That's real bad. You know, it's good, honest work, you know? It's good, honest work. And you know what they say, work will set you free. What's the other thing they say? Let's see if I can remember the lyrics of that song. What is it? It's from Hadestown. It was real. It was really good. Let's see. You know what's funny? We just had to buy a fan as well because our old fan crapped out at some point and we didn't really need to replace it, so we just haven't had a fan for a while. And now we need a fan because we're dying. We live in a tropical country. But one of the like fundamental like things we were looking for is this fan has to have a knob. We are not buying a fucking fan that has buttons. Now, admittedly, if a fan had buttons that were like proper mechanical buttons, okay, we might consider doing that. But give me a fucking knob for my fan. That's all I want. One thing I'm actually curious about though is that I noticed that none of the knobs behave the same way as they used to for fans, and I'm curious why that is. I guess probably because they have like a circuit breaker, like a circuit board in there, and they're doing some things on a fundamentally different way. Because the fans used to have 0 and then maximum and then everything else. And the reason that they had that was getting the motor started. The motors would tend to stall if you started them on the lowest setting. So you basically had to go through the highest setting to get to the lowest setting. And that's not the case on any of the things that I saw in the store anymore. Now they go like 0, 1, 2, 3, right? So I'm curious. My guess would be that it's got to be because they have software built in now that handles the actual startup. And it's not just purely mechanical anymore, which is not great for me. A fan, to me, I want to be purely mechanical. Like, I want to go, look, we're going full Luddite. By the way, Luddites based and correct pilled the entire time. It turns out the Luddites were always right. They've been maligned. The Luddites are treated like they hated technology just for the sake of technology because they did not want their children to be ground up inside of giant machinery. That is not an exaggeration in the slightest. The machines that were replacing the laborers at the time required small children to get inside of them and get grievously wounded quite regularly. The children did in fact yearn for the mines. The jobs were safer than they were during the Industrial Revolution. Anyway, I'm curious what the reason is for why it is that that's not a technical limitation they have anymore on the devices. Please say hi to predict how much you want to turn the knob. Look, that's they're gonna do that, right? The whole AI thing is just like speculative investment, right? So like they have to continuously come up with new, increasingly asinine use cases because that's just how the entire that's how the entire market works.
No room.
Oh, we have a firebolt thing that we can't learn. Are we finally? Oh,
There isn't any room.
nope, not quite yet. It's gonna fucking happen. As if no, you're being ridiculous right now. Someone's already doing it. You're being ridiculous and conspiratorial right now. Pretending that it's not currently being done. It's just a pump and dump, right? Like they have to make it look impressive to somebody that they can push the bag off onto, right? Like that's the whole deal, right? That's the whole economy right now, right? And it's been the whole economy for a while, but the AI stuff is really, really obvious with it. Okay, so we have walking boots. We're finally identifying the gear in our inventory.
There isn't any room.
Okay, we can put that
This item's
down.
weak.
Death and eradication immunity on a Vanquisher sword is kind of fun.
Jump.
Let's see. 141 luck.
Jump.
Earth magic? And stats we don't need. Because we don't need speed. We
This
need
item's
speed.
We
Who
don't need it.
needs to cast spells quickly? I refuse to believe that there is a
This item's weak.
utility for
This item's weak. I
for
might-
it. I just categorically refuse to believe that there's a use case for AI.
We don't need it.
The funny thing is that the shelf labeling actually makes sense as an AI function because it's always wrong anyway, right? So because it's oh shit. That is pretty solid actually. We can go ahead and replace this. It's not as crazy as it would be because we already do have these gauntlets. So like that character is like in great shape, but still very good. That's a top tier piece of gear. Yeah, like since shelf stuff since the labels are always wrong anyway. Like the fact that the AI is going to just hallucinate and claim that like I don't know.
Leave it.
The Viagra is fentanyl or something. Like, it's
Leave it.
It's fine. It's fine. It's mostly just funny. Nobody cares. Nobody nobody reads the labels and expects them to be correct anyway.
Joe.
No one will even... Oh, your weapon enchants can deal critical damage. The really funny thing is that this has really excellent stats for us and is not useful as a legendary. And I think that that's very funny. The legendary effect does nothing for us. But this is it's a very good item regardless. Let's see. We could put this on you. You already have good damage, though. Let's put this on you. We can swap this out. This gives us plus 8% damage. I think that's a good call. We're basically looking to get Raven to be caught up to where their friend is. Okay, do we need to actually fight the inventory boss? Is it time? Is it time to face the beast of our own making? I don't know. I feel like it might be time to face the beast.
This item's weak.
Yeah, we should probably get that done. Especially because, what time is it? It's actually 9 a.m. Do we... Nah, we got space. We got space. We'll fill up completely. That's unfortunate. Somebody died. You know, the funny thing is, I can't do that. I disabled C. Wait, did I not save after I...
No room, no room. I have too much room.
I didn't save after I fiddled with my
There
inventory?
isn't any room.
What the hell, man? What the hell, man? Come on. Yeah, we got plenty of space. We got space on like everybody. There's no problem. Why would this be a problem? We're fine. We got plenty of space. Yeah, we'll get this 100% here, and then we'll save, and then we'll go train. Damn it! These hills are fucking me up. It's another Plagueborn. Rude. Just gonna walk away. I don't have hoarding problems. I do not have hoarding problems either in real life or in game. Don't look in my closet.
Nice shot.
It actually doesn't matter, Celestial. The thing is that the product doesn't have to be any good. They'll just do it, right? And they'll do it and claim it's AI, and it'll actually just be some people in the Philippines, right? Like, the thing is that there's... Every AI company is a shell corporation for the function of being sold at a high value to some other venture capitalist group. They don't exist as real companies. They're not there to have a legitimate usage case. They're there for hype and that's it. That's the only thing that the company exists for. They might incidentally come up with some sort of technology that works, but that would be incidental. That's not the purpose of the company. That's an incidental side effect. If, like, they happen to stumble on something that's really easy and cheap to do, they'll do it. But for the most part, they'll just talk a big game and say, oh, it's down the chain, right? Which means someone else will do the hard work that seems like it's not feasible to do. And they'll go, I think they say I think it's down the chain or down the pipe or something like that, where they'll just say this and they act like it's like, oh yeah, naturally somebody is going to do the work to make this thing happen so that we can do the thing that relies on that technology that doesn't exist in order to do the job, right? That's like a big thing in like AI companies. And the reason is because they don't care. None of these people actually believe that this is actually a thing, right? I mean, some people do, but the people who do are mostly members of that weird fucking cult, right? Like, which is like a huge problem that like our entire tech sector is run by a goddamn cult. But there's a literal AI worshipping cult that is like a big problem in I guess there's several of them in like the tech sector. But you've got like, I think it's the Zizians, right? Again, watch a Behind the Bastards episode on it. But you've got a bunch of weird shit going down, where like, people like people taking incredibly silly thought experiments like Rocco's Basilisk way too seriously. Don't Google it, because if you know what Rocco's Basilisk is, it's bad for you. It's a cognito hazard. And it is bad for you because it's incredibly stupid. And people actually believe in it. So it is, in fact, a cognito hazard. It is self-harm to learn about Rocco's Basilisk. But not for the reasons they think it is. Actually, it's not a cognito hazard to learn about Rocco's Basilisk. It's a cognito hazard to learn that people believe in the Rocco's Basilisk cognito hazard thing. Like, it's the problem that you run into when you have a bunch of Christians who want to pretend that they're not Christians, and so they invent an AI Yahweh instead of, like, the normal one. Anyway, it's the whole thing. I don't know how, like, impactful the, like, weird cultists are to, like, the tech sector. Like, there seem to be a lot of... Like, I think that it might be, like, that it's, like, a good way to exploit workers.
Any rooms?
I mean, I don't think all of the Zizians are trans, no. But yes, they would call themselves super rationalists, yes. In the sense that they believe in an AI god who is going to bring about the, like... the rapture, but it's totally not the rapture, and it's totally not religion, y'all, really. We're just taking thought experiments that don't really work the way that we think that they do way too seriously and bringing about... No, it's not AI Jesus. It is not AI Jesus. There is no Jesus for these people. It is just Yahweh. It is Old Testament madness all the way. There is no redemption. There is only... It's a small group. So the Zizians specifically are a small group of... I don't remember what the group is called. It's like rationalists or something. They have some name for this particular not quite cult, because for complex reasons it's a cult-y sub-community, but it's not like a singular cult, right? Because like there isn't a singular head to it. But like there's a lot of cult vibes to it. It's very similar to a cult, right? The Zizians were, I think, like a cult. But like that was a sub-cult within a larger superstructure of people who basically... So when I'm talking about the thought experiments that they're taking way too seriously, the concept of Rocco's Basilisk is basically that there's going to be, inevitably, an AI that is created that will be the Christian God. And I mean that in the sense of the omnipotent, omniscient, omnibenevolent, but also murders fucking people, right? Like, it's like this inconsistent, like, belief structure about what this thing means, where it's internally inconsistent. Because it's like, oh yeah, this thing will be a benevolent overlord. And it will also exterminate every human being who didn't actively work to bring about its rise. So that dynamic is the is what the Zizians exist within. The Zizians are a subculture within that group. They're like a subcult within this larger, like, incredibly stupid, like, people who think they're very smart but really are not. It's basically Pascal's wager on steroids, but the fundamental principle is, so remember how I said that this omnipotent, omniscient, omnibenevolent entity is going to kill everyone that didn't spend their every waking moment bringing about its existence? That's what this Rocco's Basilisk is basically about. The people who fall in with this crowd believe that, and I'd love confirmation on whether that group is called the Rationalists. I think that might be what their name for the supergroup is. They're not rational. Do not let the name fool you. It is a lie. But principally, they think that if you learn about the existence of this thought experiment, that this super AI is inevitably going to be created, and it will inevitably kill everyone who doesn't bring about its existence, or doesn't spend like all of their energy bringing about its existence, then the super AI will just kill you, right? When it is inevitably created, so you have to dedicate all of your time to doing this thing. They also have other weird, like, stuff where they're like, okay, well, like, nobody will fuck with you if they know you're crazy, so you have to make, a promise that if, like, if somebody ever fucks with you, you'll just fucking go crazy on them. Shit like that. Like, a bunch of stuff that's, like, real obsession with, like, thought experiment and turning thought into, like, reality in very bizarre ways, right? Yes, if you hear about the topic, you're now enwebbed in its outcome, and so you are, like, principally... That's what they mean by cognitohazard, is that learning about the topic puts you in danger, right? Exactly. Everyone lost the game except me. So, except me.
Go.
The thing is, it would be hilarious if not for the fact that this is actually a very common thing with the people who, like, literally build the infrastructure that runs the entire world and have all of the money flowing through them in the entire fucking economy. The entire economy is built on the back of people, not the back of them. It's built on, like, the decision making of people who are members of an absolutely insane cult that believes that there is a super intelligence that's going to wipe out humanity, and they don't want to be one of the people who's wiped out. And that's their primary and, dare I say, exclusive motivating interest in everything that they do, is avoiding that fate. That is a crazy thing to bail an economy off of. We might have to invis our way through this, actually. We might have to not try to pick a fight with these right off the bat. Maybe we invis. Maybe. Yeah, this is a good fast dungeon. We're gonna get a lot of XP.
I bet it's going to be bad.
Yeah, basically. Again, like, they've basically recreated Christianity, but dumber, right? Like, that's basically what it is. And look, I don't have any respect for any religion, so understand that Christianity but dumber is a very grievous insult from me. So anyway, yeah, it's an issue within those circles, and it's like you basically have those people and then people like Peter Thiel and Elon Musk as like the like primary. They don't do hymns because it's like Christianity but like dumber, right? They're all like AI bros. They don't believe in art, right? Like, they don't believe in the concept of art. So, like, it's garbage. You need the song. Exactly. If you don't have the songs, what are you even doing here?
It's me.
It's bad. It's bad.
I don't know.
Okay, we are in trouble. I'm now realizing that we're going to have to get through quite a lot of this dungeon very quickly.
I love the team.
It's fine. It's not fine. Okay, maybe I should have moved quickly instead of slowly. Okay, we can do this. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. We're going to just run straight through the middle. It's going to go fine. Heart of the cards. Heart of the cards. Oh, right. Yes, you are incredibly slow moving. I forgot about that part. Can I kill you from the rafters? Is that a thing I can do? Let's find out if I can kill you from the rafters, because that would be... could be... You didn't have to sound so sarcastic about it, okay? Like, I think it's a great plan. I think it's gonna work. Don't talk shit. Look, it's a great plan if I actually land on the thing. It's gonna work. It's gonna work. Trust me. Trust me. It's 100%. I've definitely done this before, and it definitely worked and didn't fail immediately.
I'm hurt.
Okay, maybe don't check the VOD. Okay. I've never watched Will and Grace, so I don't know who that is. Are you talking about Firefly? I don't think I have seen that, no.
I bet it's going to be bad.
Oh god, I aggroed the ball. Right, that thing. The thing. You know what I could do? Do we want to do the thing? We could try it. Hurting ourselves very badly. Cassowary, you were too durable. That's that 10 regen skill, or 9 regen skill, or whatever. Okay, I can do it that way, but I don't want to. I think I'm going to switch to purely single target for now. We will use Toxic Cloud.
Okay.
Oh, you're talking about Terminator.
Ready.
Yeah, I saw Terminator back in the day. to fix things. You know, it is funny though, because like, oh Jesus, I just aggroed a boss. Okay, we might be able to kill the boss. Oh boy, we would kill the boss if not for you doing things that I don't want you to do. Okay, I don't know how we pulled all those with Canadians. So it's scarier. It's Terminator if it was like a horror franchise. I get you. I don't have a lot of space here. Oh man, this is gonna be a nightmare. Because if I aggro this, I'm gonna pull all of the critters there. So I guess I could try to just run forward, tag the door, and then get out before we die.
Let's take it.
Let's fucking go. Okay. Not even slightly cheesy to just use right clicks. Okay. If I open this door, will that get me what I need? I need a big bed. That's a bed, but I don't think it will work. It's not tall enough. Yeah. Some people took it and ran with it. Nope. I missed my jump. You know, what I should have done is saved, actually, because I have enough food that I can save twice here. So I could have actually opened this door, gotten out, and, you know, let's just stand right here. It's not gonna work. I wonder if I can... I wonder if I can get through into one of the back rooms. I need to save after I get through that door, because there's actually a lot of things I can potentially do once we get through this door. Unfortunately, it's very hard to get through this door, and I just threw away my opening, and then I have another one immediately. Never mind. It's an easy game. It's such an easy game that I'm going to have an easy life, in fact. So, we're going to go over here. We're going to open this. And then these are going to aggro immediately. Which is unfortunate, because I would like... There's no shot there. That's not happening. Okay, we're not getting in the back rooms. So, over here, we have a bunch of bullshit. I could hypothetically burst down a large portion of that pack. This is not going to be helpful. I could try to do a bed play. I'm going to go to the very back instead for now. Okay, and we're going to jump up on here. It's going to work great. Okay. Look, it's fine. We'll figure something out. Look, we're not aggroing more and more enemies with each passing second. That's not how it's going. Okay, so unfortunately we do have to jump to get into the beds. So we can't get into the bed. Not from that angle, anyway. Is the ceiling curved down? Is that what's happening to us? It's very rude of you to behave like this. I don't know that I can get to the top of that. This is a pretty short ceiling. I don't know that I can fit under that. But yeah, I feel like I remember hearing about Roko's Basilisk when I was like in my late teens and early 20s, and I was like, oh, that's a weird thought experiment. Okay, like that's like a fun thought experiment for like a fantasy novel, but obviously this is like not a real like, this is not a serious philosophy. This is just like a fun, like, thought experiment for, like, again, like, for like a fantasy setting. Like, that's a good setting for a dystopia, but like,
I need healing.
I think one of the most dangerous things in the world is things that have the aesthetic of one thing while being just the opposite of it.
Pray.
Like, I think in terms of, like, dangers to the world, I feel like that is the thing. And, like, one of the most dangerous things in the world is the aesthetic of rationalism. The aesthetic of being, the aesthetic of sensibility, of being like, ah, yes, I understand how this thing works, without actual comprehension of how it works. Right? That aesthetic is extremely damaging to the world. Actually understanding things is great. Having the aesthetic of comprehension with no actual comprehension is not, right? Like, if you look at, like, if you look at, like Sherlock Holmes type shows, like, if you look at shows about, like, detectives and things like that, where it's like, okay, we have this character, like House, right, is a similar dynamic.
Ready to.
Those shows present an aesthetic of competence, but the writers don't know what the hell they're talking about, right? So, like, it creates a massive disconnect between the perceived understanding and the actual understanding of the topic, and what those two things look like. So, like, when people think of what does a highly competent person in their field look like, they think of, like, a cynical asshole. But if you look at people who are actually the most highly competent people in their fields, generally speaking, they're not cynical assholes. Like, there's certainly assholes in basically every field, but, like, being a cynical asshole is not positively correlated with competence. It's actually negatively correlated with competence, right? Maybe being a cynical asshole is positively correlated with competence in a sort of, like, general, like, if you're a teenager and you don't have any skills, but you are, like, moderately talented at a lot of things, I could see an argument that could be made that, like, if you're looking at exclusively teenagers who don't know shit anyway, that maybe there's a positive correlation between being a cynical asshole and some form of
It's going to be
competence. I could see an argument for that. But it's not an actual, like, I don't know what I'm gonna do here, actually.
Sit.
It's not an actual
Okay.
there's no strong overlap between those two things. For the most part, people who are cynical assholes are, to use a term that I've heard someone use that I think I really appreciate, midwits.
Great.
Which is to say, people who are of middling intelligence who think that they are very intelligent, and as a result of that do a bunch of really dumb shit because they're massively overestimating their own individual competence. Right? Like, a great example of a midwit is honestly probably me in a lot of circumstances, right? But, like,
I love it.
the basic gist of a midwit is someone who has, you know, isn't, like, the dumbest person in the world. Like, they're not, like, according to, they're not super dumb, but they engage in way dumber behavior than you'd expect by virtue of the fact that they think that they're more competent than they are. Okay, this is an issue that we have, which is that we keep pulling these enemies in the back, and then when we pull those enemies in the back, we have to AoE them. And then because we have to AoE them. So let's change up our strategy a bit here. We're going to have you turn off that and turn on Fireball for now. I could alternatively do it the other way around. Let's see. Which theorists? Like philosophers or like Marx? I'm not familiar with any like actual like mainstream like theoretical philosophers these days that really have too much to say that's of interest. But there presumably are some, but there isn't really a huge market for... There isn't much of a market for, like, a new... I don't know who those people are. They're three what? Theorists in... What field are they theorists in?
Let's go in.
In what field? Just like philosophy generally, or? Like, are these philosophers? Are these, like, economists? Are these physicists? Who is Moldbug? Moldbug seems easy to Google. Let's Google Moldbug. Moldbug. Oh my god, Curtis Yarvin? Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, these fucking psychopaths? Yeah, if you'd said Curtis Yarvin... yeah, the fucking... The monarchists? Yeah, you know, I'm familiar with them. I haven't read a lot of Curtis Yarvin's screeds about how he should be God King. I wouldn't consider him a political theorist. I don't consider it a valid political philosophy to say that you should be a God King. Like, I'm sorry, I hold philosophy to a higher standard than that. Look, I was a teenager once too, but now I'm 40. Post-liberal? What the fuck does that mean? Certainly not a Marxist. Are these all far-right psychopaths? Who's Patrick Deneen? He certainly looks like one. Critical examination of liberalism, yeah? Yeah? Critical in why liberalism failed? Did liberalism fail because black people exist? Let's find out if part of this series on conservatism in the United States. So he's trying to do post-liberalism without referencing Marx. Okay, let's do that. Yeah, that seems like no. Is he is Patrick Deneen a monarchist or a fascist? Which one? I would guess fascist because fascism is a post-liberal ideology and monarchism is not, right? So like Yarvin, I believe, is a monarchist. Like he's an ultra-monarchist, right? So he is a pre-liberal political philosopher, right? Where he ignores the existence of liberalism, right? He rejects the Enlightenment. So does Deneen reject the Enlightenment? Look, they can claim whatever the fuck they want, man. This is what I mean by there aren't really any new theorists, right? Because there's no one who has built on the shit that, like, Adam Smith wrote, except people like Marx. Like, Adam Smith's contemporaries wrote new stuff, right? But, like, the thing is that in the modern age, there is a rejection of the criticisms and downfalls of capitalism that the creators of capitalism would acknowledge, right? So the fundamental thought leaders that were responsible for shaping what capitalism would look like had very significant concerns about monopolies and this, that, or the other. There's a lot of things that they had concerns about where it's like, oh, inevitably this results in this thing if you don't do certain behaviors. There's issues with it. There's concerns, right? There's issues with this. And because of the fact that they were not representing a status quo, they were representing a wild new vanguard at the time. Capitalism was new. It was a fresh take on how to handle an economy. They were allowed to do that. They were allowed to say, this thing that we've created has monstrous elements to it that need to be reined in. Like, Marx is not the first person to critique capitalism. Marx just had specific things that he was doing that were, like, taking what Adam Smith wrote on capitalism and saying, okay, well, here's why some of these intractable problems are actually intractable and cannot necessarily be resolved within the concept of liberalism, right? So after that, there's like nothing. There's no new writing on economics post 1900 that is good, robust theory. There's just nothing. There's nothing that you can sink your teeth into because economists are a profession now. They're not a bunch of nerds shit-talking each other in theoretical papers. That's not what an economist is anymore. That's what an economist was. Economists were like old school scientists, and by that I don't mean like scientists but old school. I mean they were just like the psychopaths that were like doing weird shit with dogs. They were mad scientists, but they were coming from the same class. This bored aristocracy, this bored gentry class, right? Marx was a bored member of the gentry, right? He fucked around with the stock market for fun, right? Marx was a capitalist in the sense that he was a member of that class, right? I think Adam Smith was as well. But the thing is that economics now is a means of justifying the behavior that you were going to do anyway for the most part. There's good economics that's done, and there's good papers, like individual papers that are written on things in economics now. But you're not going to get like good theory because that relies on someone being able to publish a long manifesto of, some fucking, how long is Capital, right? Let's see. Capital Life Marx. Marx is not spelled with a K. It is volume 1. So this was written over the course of... Capital was written over the course of like 40 years, right? The volume 1 was written in 67. Volume 3 was written in 94, right? There ain't nobody who's writing like that anymore. That's just not a viable thing that you can do anymore. So those kinds of theorists don't exist anymore, but also those kinds of theorists are outdated now, right? Like the stuff that Marx wrote, it's like Marx wrote a lot of good stuff, but like Marx doesn't really touch on like the interrelation between imperialism and capital very strongly. Part of the reason that Marx's
theories of what would happen, with the contradictions of capital. Part of the issues with his theories was that he didn't recognize that you could externalize those things into the colonies. So what happened is the really shitty, terrible jobs over time, as revolutions started to get sparked, got moved into the colonies, right? So they got moved to places like China. They got moved to places like India. They got moved to all the places that they're still at, which means that the centers of capital don't have to be in physical proximity to the proletariat that they are exploiting the most directly, the most like aggressively, right? The most aggressively exploited proletariat is not adjacent. They can't rebel. They can't kill the king because they live on a different continent from the king, right? So these are things that Marx doesn't talk about very much. I think he maybe touches on it a little bit in some of the later stuff, but like my understanding of what he's written about, which bear in mind, I haven't really read Marx. I've like looked at some stuff that he's. I've looked at people talking about them, doing some sort of like critical reviews of some of this stuff, but my understanding of what people think, like as Marxists, like people who like take Marx very seriously as a thinker, is that they don't really interact with the realities of imperialism that strongly in any sort of ideologically consistent way. Anyway, the basic point is that there is some blue-haired anarchist out there who has written a manifesto that is a very great successor piece to what Marx has written. And we will never read it because there is no market for that. It is not going to be published, and nobody cares. And it's basically that simple. That's the line I'm going with. Is it's basically like, okay, yeah, you know, there's a lot of theory that could be written about the modern world. There's very few people who are competent enough to make even a decent go at doing it, but there's a bunch of real just unintelligent nut jobs who will get paid very large amounts of money by very wealthy people to tell those wealthy people that they should be god kings, right? So like if you look at Yarvin's claim to fame is claiming that people like Elon Musk, who is not smart, like Elon Musk is obviously an idiot, right? If you've ever seen him interact in any capacity, he is obviously an idiot. He's not just not smart. He is of below average intellect, right?
Where is the enemy?
And telling people like that they're geniuses and should be god kings is an incredibly lucrative market, and it's intellectually incredibly bankrupt, right? Because obviously they're not smart and they shouldn't be god kings. But yeah, that's the dynamic.
Let's go in.
That's the dynamic. So yeah, I stand by my position that there aren't really very many new theorists. But yeah, anyone who's gonna like unironically use a term like post-liberal, I would guess is a fascist. That's just a fascist topic because we're not in a post-liberal world. We are nowhere near a post-liberal world. The only post-liberal world that we're going to get anytime soon is another rise of fascism. But fascism decays back into liberalism, or at least it has historically. Like, you'd need to give a pretty strong claim for why you think that this time it's going to be different. There's reasons to believe that fascism might be more stable this time than it was last time, which is bad, by the way. But it's not like...
It's going to be bad.
But fascism is bad. Like, there's no moral justification for desiring fascism to occur, right? There's nothing, there's no value in fascism as a political philosophy. Yeah, it's a hot take. You know, it's a hot take. But the sad thing is, it is kind of a hot take these days, right? Like, and not just these days. When fascism came up the first time, it was also kind of popular, right? Like, that was a popular, exciting thing among the intelligentsia. The idea that the people who are superior should be in charge of everything and should run all the things, that's a popular idea with people who think that they're the smartest, best people in the world. The issue is that the people who think they're the smartest, best people in the world tend to be kind of dumb and not good people. They're not exclusively that, you know? I think I'm pretty smart, and I don't think I'm one of the worst people on Earth. I wouldn't consider myself, you know, one of the worst ones, to be sure. Would I consider myself one of the good ones? I don't know. You know, there's a...
Never seen one before.
I'm sometimes, you know, wish that I had,
Never seen one.
you know, done more to sort of like seek power when I was younger, to actually do things that are like more politically influential. That's a thing that I occasionally think about. But if I'm being honest, I don't think that I would have done a good job. I think I would have done a shit job. And it's probably best that I don't have power. Because if I think that me, as I am today, could be entrusted with some degree of power and not have it go immediately and irrevocably to shit. And I feel like I'd be fairly careful with that power today. But the issue, one of the problems of revolution is that revolutionaries make really bad rulers. Revolutionaries do not make good peacetime rulers. They just don't. It's a completely different skill set, and it's also a completely different like mentality that you need. Revolutionaries need to be mean. They need to be willing to do things that you don't want your leaders doing, because they are going to have to fight a bunch of people, and those that are going to like violently oppose, right? Like, it's not like, you know, there isn't an answer to... There's not an answer to a bunch of guys with guns showing up and starting to shoot everyone that's realistic and peaceful, right? Those, you have to protect people. That is a thing that you have to do. Not all violence is protective violence, but all violence is violence. And by that what I mean is the kind of person who's willing to do protective violence is not necessarily the kind of person who's willing to do other forms of violence. But a person who's willing to do one form of violence is definitely willing, a different form of violence is almost definitely going to be willing to do protective violence. Because the thing they're getting out of it is the violence. Not everybody, but a lot of people who are willing to do violence enjoy it, right? It's like what I was saying the other day about, like, the people who put Stalin in charge knew he was a monster. That's why they put him in charge, right? Like, it's not like an accident that Stalin was the way that he was. The people who put him in power knew what they were doing. And that's kind of the issue. It's a problem that you have with sort of like revolutionary movements, that they are fundamentally at their core violent movements. And they require violent people to pull them off. Oh, this is a problem, actually. Got you. Fuck. I'm gonna die. There we go. Okay. If we can get the kill... We're not gonna get the kill here. That's too bad. If we get this room cleared before we have to save, we can save and then we'll be done. We will have one extra save off after that. But I think that we have a decent chance if we can pull this guy not like this. We have a decent shot here at getting him. Also, I need to wait on my mana on my dragon. Yeah, so anyway. There is a huge difference between someone who is ideologically a socialist and someone who's ideologically a fascist. There is not a huge difference necessarily between the foot soldiers of either movement. Because the people who are doing the violence are not going to be the most dedicated keepers of the cause. They're going to be people who want to do violence. Not universally, but if you say, hey, we're doing a call for people who are willing to do violence on behalf of our movement, a lot of the people who are going to answer that call are going to be people who just want to do violence. They don't care about your movement as much as they care about doing the violence. And a lot of those people don't even realize it. Like, they don't even know that that's their motivational structure, right? It's not like they're, like, ideologically committed to violence. Some people are. Like, I think it's very reasonable to argue that fascists are ideologically committed to violence. Not the random foot soldiers who are not ideologically committed to anything necessarily, but a true fascist and a thug, like a person who's ideologically a fascist and someone who's just a violent thug, are the same guy. They behave like kind of identical in like most circumstances. There's just not a huge difference between the two. As one former president might say, no daylight, kid. As in there's no daylight between these two positions. But that's not the true for all movements, right? Like, an ideological liberal is not a thug, right? Someone who believes in capitalism as very strongly as a political project, people who believe in that project are incredibly scary people in a lot of ways, because, like, they believe that they are ideologically committed to the idea of a system of oppression, right? They are ideologically committed to it. It's not like an incidental thing for them. So they're scary in some ways, but they're not like thugs. They're not people who are ideologically committed to violence for violence's sake, which is kind of the fascist end of it, right? To a fascist, the violence is the point, right? Whereas to almost anyone else, like even like a monarchists are not ideologically committed to violence. They're ideologically committed to hierarchy in some key ways, but like, I think that I don't think there's anything necessarily in the principles of monarchism that are like, oh yeah, no, we know that the only way to maintain this is to brutally kill anyone who opposes us. That's not fundamental to the philosophy in the way that it is with fascism. Fascists believe in the violence itself. It's the violence is not a means to an end. It is an end in itself. Please. Shit! I took my hand off the keyboard as I aggroed another enemy. How did I only get this now? Please. Okay. 26%. I think we've cleared every enemy here. We've cleared every enemy from this initial grouping. So, we can save the game. We can save it under dungeon. We now have 1 save left, and 2 if we use 1 food. I'm going to try not to use any food here. I think that we can do this without it. So, this is a room that doesn't have a door. We just walk over here, we clear it. No problem. Easy peasy. I should also cast Mist Form, because if I have Mist Form up, the bulk of the enemies in here have a 1 in 5 chance of doing nothing on any of their attacks, which is, like, good, turns out. That would be useful for me if, 1 in 5 times when an enemy would kill me, it just does nothing instead. Okay, that's done. We're at 33%. We're halfway to being able to leave. Now I need to figure out what my angle is. Do I want to... I think I simply want to pull... Oh, Jesus! There's more enemies in here! That was really funny. We went in and out of turn-based so fast there. I don't know why I didn't realize that there could be more enemies in there. I don't know how we didn't die there. That's wild. They were not hitting as hard as I would have expected them to. Okay, we just have 1 enemy here. What is it? And it's the only enemy in the entire room, I'm sure. Okay, I was wondering if Cassowary could get a crit and just kill it, and that is a yes. Let's see. Okay, let's do a Rock Blast, actually. That seems like a good... Okay. Let's do another Rock Blast. There we go. Wait, is that the only enemy in the room? No, okay. I was gonna say, like, did it somehow spawn just 1? It's so funny when a ball just bounces through the room and hits, like, most of the room and doesn't tag the group of enemies there. Okay, I think that that's everybody, because it should do communal aggro at the very least, and yeah, there we go. And it should just hit everybody because there's an AoE. It's an AoE. It's in a tiny room. So we're going to continue south. We're going to open this door, and do you have prismatic light? You don't. We're going to swap to prismatic, and we're going to hit all the spells. We probably should have been a bit more... No, we shouldn't. Being aggressive there was the play. By being aggressive there, we're being more mana efficient, and mana efficiency is important for this pack, I think. We can swap off of Prism to Light Bolt.
Ready.
We should have been a bit more careful there. This door is closed, right? Yes, this door is also closed. We're set. Okay, all set. I should probably set A to do, like, everybody's lowest cost spell. That's what I should do. Because I have, like, Firebolt and stuff like that that are very, very low cost spells. Jesus. Oh, jeez. Okay, good thing we had AoEs. Okay, we're just aggroing more. Okay, I was expecting you to require a little bit more work, but that's fine. Anybody else I can pull? Basically just waiting for this to hit these guys along the way. I'm surprised that we didn't aggro them, but I guess it makes sense. It's not that surprising. Okay, let's go up. I think if we go up, yep, we'll get them to come. Easy peasy. Next. Rude. Okay. We're at 47% and counting. We're going to open this. It's going to take a while for them to walk through. That's a bigger pack than I thought, but not that big. Okay. It's a veteran. I was expecting 2, but it's just 3. Not a huge difference. You're gonna... There we go. Come on. Come on, buddy. Come on. Okay, there we go. So... we can baby talk our enemies. The 125k. Oh man, it's very fun. So the one thing that's interesting is that I was thinking that the damage that we dealt in that dungeon against the level 300s would be like the bulk of the damage that we dealt for a long time, where it's like, okay, well, the damage output over the course of the entire game. Wait, was I looking at the wrong thing just now? Was I looking at the total game instead of the zone? I think I was. I'm gonna have to look at that again. I think I might have been looking at the whole game. But yeah, I do think that now our so like what percentage of our damage is who for this dungeon right now? It's very mixed. Nope, that's healing. Current map. Yes, I was looking at the wrong thing, I think. So Cassowary has 74% of my damage in this dungeon right now. That's very funny. Okay, let's look at that again when we go outside. I keep forgetting that I have... Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, you're not a real warlock, are you? Okay, you're not a real warlock. I was not in as much danger as I thought I was. I'm like, oh, shit. I was like, oh, wait, no, you're a melee. I forgot. Okay, there is another group in here. There was another group in there. Alright, we now are at 60%. We're at 54%. We're getting there. We're approaching 60. So what we can do now is, I think, we're going to cast Telekinesis on this door and just walk away. The enemies start aggroing now. Oh boy, please don't let me die. Come, come, oh come, please don't let me die. Look, I'm a man of culture, I translate Latin for fun. For song lyrics to the hit 1997 video game Final Fantasy VII. I am not kidding. You gotta translate One Winged Angel. It is a wild song. Ooh, shit. Ooh. Please. There's 2 of them? There's 3 bosses in this pack? Oh, I'm gonna fucking die. Oh, one of them's a Broodlord? Okay, this is incredibly rude. One of them's a Broodlord. One of them's a... Oh my god. One of them's reflecting. You have got... We're at 63%. Game... How dare you? That is so rude. Okay, we're not opening that room. We're gonna get the rest of our clearance from a different room. Let's do... I guess we should probably... We should probably clear one of the side passages first. Let's get the ones that are actually already aggroable done first.
Should we switch to Rock Blast as our default spell? Oh, look at that. Oh, it's so beautiful. Might be more fun. Okay, is that everybody? Probably not, right? Be too sensible for it to be everybody. Okay, we will check. That is everybody. We did manage to pull that whole pack. Nice. Yeah, oops all bosses is right. Jesus. That was crazy. Interesting. On the plus side, we know that none of these other rooms are going to have a ton of bosses in them because the bosses are all in that one room. But yeah, off stream. Oh, I'm gonna need that guy's name again. The post-liberal guy that I looked at. I glanced at his Wikipedia. I'm gonna need to identify like what his actual politics are. After stream, and I'll type it up in the whatchamacallit, in like the political rants channel or something like that. Because I think it'll be funny. One of the issues that we have, and one of the reasons that, like, sort of like these kind of like these scams, like if you ever look at like the abundance liberalism scam, like this is a new thing that the Democrats are trying to pull. They're trying to like rebrand themselves again because they're incredibly unpopular. Like the whole abundance liberalism thing is like another example of just kind of like putting a fresh coat of paint on like an ideology that is like 2 centuries old. Because like the window of acceptable political thought just hasn't moved, right? When it comes to economics, what is considered like acceptable, like in the Overton window, it just hasn't shifted at all, right? Like you can't make a post-liberal, argument in a serious way because like the entire established wealth of the entire world, which owns all of the publishing outlets, capitalists do not want you to talk about being post-capitalist and mean it, right? That like there's just nobody who is getting wide attention who's going to have particularly radical politics. Like Bernie Sanders' politics are not particularly radical politics. Bernie is like maybe more radical on the inside than he is on the outside. Like he might be, he might be closer to like an actual socialist than he lets on in his heart of hearts, but he doesn't advocate for it, and he doesn't do any strategies that are likely to engender that kind of a result, right? You're not gonna get anything radical out of a Bernie Sanders, right? And that's as far left as your theory gets, right? Meanwhile, like people like Curtis Yarvin, who basically say, okay, capitalists should be god kings and rule over everyone else with an iron fist. Those kinds of people are given mainstream, like, power. And by that I don't mean, like, media attention, because people don't talk about Curtis Yarvin on media.
but in the sense of like he can get meetings with very powerful people, and he's a widely consumed, like, you know, like a lot of people subscribe to his ideology in the halls of power, right? So there's a very big disconnect in how radical you can be as like a fascist, or in this case a monarchist, right? Versus someone who's even like slightly to the left, right? Like Bernie Sanders is considered a very, very radical politician, despite legitimately just not having particularly radical policies that he's ever suggested. Right, a lot of what he suggests, and he suggests some stuff that's more radical than what like the median European country does. Like a lot of people will pretend that Bernie isn't like more to the left than the average European politician, and that's just not true. Bernie is more to the left than most European politicians, but like it's not by a lot. Like he's not a particularly radical person. His politics just aren't that crazy. He's mostly a liberal, right? But like if you are following like the discourse or whatever, right? Like it's treated like he's like the next coming of Marx or whatever. It's like, no, not really. Like Bernie and AOC both have like fairly like they're both liberals, right? Like, okay, they might not be liberals in their hearts of heart, but they're, in terms of their political projects, they're liberals. They're not fucking socialists, right? And that's a problem, as like for me, that it's like, okay, these people who are like the furthest left people we have in our politics are like, you know, progressive liberals. Hey, Jad Riders.
Want some?
Yeah, the real issue fundamentally is that like conservative politics is really just kind of boring. You know, like they can't have like actual thinkers, right? Like if you've ever heard like Ben Shapiro was like supposed to be like the intellectual wunderkind of the far right, and he's like he's not that bright, right? Like he can argue fairly effectively against college students, and that's about the limit of his actual meaningful capacity there, you know? It's just not that impressive. But I mean, to be fair, you know, for the far right, that is a pretty that's a pretty high bar he meets. But the Shapiro is an example of the thing that I was describing earlier in terms of the aesthetic of rationalism. Like, you know, I think he's the one that coined the term "facts don't care about your feelings," but like conservative politics is all about vibes and feelings. Like that's what it's about. That's like the entirety of conservative politics, right? So it's like it's a good soundbite, but it hits way harder when you use it on the right than it does on the left, because like
We'll be
look,
back.
man, facts don't care about your feelings. They just don't. So it's a it's a sad day. The issue with, especially like today, like especially with today's politics, is that in order to be anywhere near as conservative as the mainstream like American position is, you kind of have to be either dumb or a grifter, right? Like dumb, uneducated, or a grifter, right? Like those are the choices, right? And you know, most people, like most general public people, are uneducated. They don't know shit about politics, right? They have no. They wouldn't know a theory if it bit them on the ass, you know. Like that's fine. They don't need to. That's not their. Not everyone has to read 200-year-old economics textbooks, you know? Like, that's not a thing that the average person needs to do with their life. If I felt that the average person needed to do that with their life, I feel like I would have
Let's get out.
a difficult time. But that's interesting. That actually did damage to Goose, but not a lot. Did I have Mistform active, or did it drop? I don't actually know. Yeah, so like the smartest people on the far right know that they're lying all the time. Like they know that they're lying. They're not like they're not misinformed. They're not like, you know,
Beats me.
they're not accidentally engage in hyperbole. They're not, or not hyperbole, or in like hypocrisy. It's not an accident. It's a game. It's a game to them, and they know that they're lying. So
I've never seen one before.
I feel like that's an important thing to understand. Because for like a long time, when I was younger, like in my early 20s, and earlier than that, right? But you know, in my early 20s certainly, I was always upset by how people would say things that were like obviously incorrect and wouldn't fact check them, because I thought, like, you know, oh, why would you not do the most basic fact checking? And the reason that they don't do the most basic fact checking is because not because like, oh, well, I don't know the answers, right? It's, oh, well, I know that if I do the fact checking, I know that this is wrong, so I'm not going to check, right? Like, and that's kind of like just the mainstream politics now. Like there was a thing that happened that like recently that is a fairly minor thing, but it's like an example of how disconnected from reality like the world has become, where like media does not talk about reality. They talk about, oh, well, this person says this person says this, right? So like in a lot of cases, like there's just like an objective reality, and you can just measure that objective reality. We invented all these cool instruments for that, and one of those is just Google Maps. But there was a time recently during the LA fires where Trump just randomly ordered the opening of a dam to just flood an entire region of California. And he's like, oh, I just supplied all this water to Los Angeles, right? And he flooded all that water west. He flooded it. He didn't flood it in the direction of Los Angeles. It was like so there was no outlet toward LA from the dam that he opened, right? You can just look on a map, where is the dam and where do the rivers flow from that dam? You can see it. You can just look and see that it doesn't flow anywhere near the place he says it does. And he's relying on the fact that no one's going to open a map to check, right? Like we're living in a world where we have access to all of this information, all of the information that humanity has ever accumulated in human history. And we have political movements that are built upon people not bothering to Google it. Not even bothering to look at a map. And they'll say, like, if you tell them, oh, yeah, like, he was obviously lying, look at a map, the people who support him will just say you're lying. They'll just say, oh, well, your reality isn't convenient for me, I think you're lying. And it's like, but it's a map, you can just look. Well, I don't want to look. It's like, well, why not? It turns out that Don't Look Up was not, that inaccurate. It wasn't really much of an exaggeration. We really do live in a world where Don't Look Up is a political philosophy that is kind of unironically espoused by large sectors of the population, and which, like, major political parties rely on completely and utterly rely on. The fact that people will not look to survive as a political experiment. Disintegrated? Oh no. It's wild. We have Paralyzed now. I could cast that. I'd like to get... Okay, we killed the ads. I think all the ads are dead. They're not all dead. Okay, there's at least one extra ad. We need to preferably kill. Is it dead? I think it might have died to the AoEs. It's fine. This Plagueborn, I don't think we're going to kill here. We're not killing it. It's fine. So we're just leaving. And then we can go back in. That was not the right way to do this. I need to do this first. I'm going to try to just get into that secret passage, and hopefully I'll be able to utilize the secret passage, because the doors like open and close and do weird shit in the secret passage. So I'm hoping. Where's my EXP, by the way? We need another full level or so. Which we have a Broodlord here. We might actually get it just for this, honestly. Okay. Unfortunately, it looks like we didn't kill this thing before. Oh, there's another enemy here. Okay, there's enemies on the other side of this door. Door here. Fraternal Order of Silver, Melody, Hawk. Okay. I don't remember how far we have to go to trigger this to... We're gonna pull out, because we have the reflector pulled. Ooh, you exist. I forgot you existed. Right. We're gonna have to deal with those first. We'll just go invis the entire way, which will require that we actually cast invis.
But yeah, it is very funny that people are trying to bring back monarchy. I don't think people are trying to bring back feudalism. That's not entirely true. People are kind of bringing back feudalism. There's certain elements of capitalism that are inextricably tied to like feudal concepts. So capitalism is
Take it.
is kind of a weird one in that like it's very related to what preceded it. Like it's very strongly related to things like monarchism. It's highly related to feudalism and stuff like that, right? There are relationships there, but those relationships are the relationship is kind of a weird one. The thing about feudalism is that feudalism is about charging rent, and capitalism is about ownership of the means of production. And those are related concepts, but I don't think it's a one-to-one, right? Like, if you're charging rent for, like, a factory, then, in a way, you are you're engaging in rentiership, right? Like you're doing the same thing that a landlord does, kind of. But I think there's meaningful distinctions between renting a property and controlling a community resource that is like something like the means of production. Like a capitalist doesn't just own the building; they own like the means by which you can do stuff. And I think that what we've done with copyright law, like with like patent law, like all of the like intellectual property law has weirdly kind of recreated a somewhat more feudal dynamic than I think you really get out of like people controlling things like factories. Because I'm trying to think of how I would describe the ways that it's different to control a factory versus controlling, like, an intellectual property. And they're very simple, right? An intellectual property is a means of production. That is a thing that, in a very broad sense, it's like kind of a crazy thing to think that that's like it's not. It's like what are you talking about? How is the copyright a means of production? And it's like, well, it depends, right? So like if you have a copyright or a patent on the ability to make certain types of drugs, because both apply, both patent and copyright law apply to drugs, because we live in a world like that. because late stage capitalism, but because of that, you can end up in situations where, like, the problem that is preventing someone from being able to make a thing is not that they don't have access to the physical hardware necessary to do the thing, and instead that they lack the legal authority to make it without being arrested. Right? Or like fined so punitively that like it just can't be done, right? So we shouldn't have opened that door, huh? Opening that door might have been a slight mistake on our part. Okay, I was wondering if this would help me, and it does not. We need to not open that door. I had forgotten how I had gotten the success that I got the last time.
Yeah, there's been a lot of theory that's been written in the last 100 years about like social causes that are interesting. Like intersectional theory is really important. Like the thing about like the world of, you know, like economics and all that shenanigans is that like there's a tendency to treat there's a tendency to try to separate economic and social like progressivism into two separate categories. Like they're two different things, right? And it's like, okay, you can have one without the other. And I don't realistically think that's actually the case. I don't actually think you can have either without having both. I don't think that you can.
Ready.
Don't tell the Stalinists. But the thing is that those are very interconnected things. And so there's actually been arguably quite a lot of theory that is somewhat like economic theory, but is like technically slightly different than economic theory, but which I think describes a lot of stuff. Like intersectional theory, critical theory, there's a lot of stuff, right, that helps to describe the economic world that we live in beyond what we understood through like just like a pure understanding of like listening to like the older theorists jabber or whatever, right? So there is some new stuff. There is new stuff out there. It's just there's not a lot. There's not a lot of stuff that you would traditionally call like economics. And honestly, most of the stuff that is like interesting in new political theory isn't even really considered political theory, I don't think so much. Like, I don't know that like intersectional theories are really necessarily considered political theories. Like, is critical theory, like, is that considered a political theory? What is happening? Why are you...
Ready.
There's been some components of our like political like theory structure that have stagnated over the years. But I guess as I think about it, it's less than you'd think. There's a decent amount of good work being done. It just looks a little different than you might expect if you're looking for like let's see. So I believe that critical theory is the basic idea of looking at a system looking at like what the consequences of a system as a whole are, as opposed to like when people talk about like so like critical race theory, to my understanding, is the idea that when you're in a system, you are bound by the sort of the rules and principles of that system, in a way that make it so that things like racism, interpersonal racism, isn't the thing that causes racist outcomes, right? Like the like standard way that people model like racial oppression is, oh, okay, well, if the racists just stop doing racist stuff, everything's going to be fine. And that is dumb. That's like a really dumb way to think about the world. That's just not, that's not how it works. The thing that causes, the thing that causes the bulk of the harm is systemic. It's not like interpersonal racism that causes racist outcomes. It's a system that is built that creates, by its fundamental structure and design, outcomes which are racist. So like, it's basically like a systemic issue. It's not like a interpersonal issue. Right, and I believe that that's a component of critical theory, right? The concept of like concepts of like structural racism, but also the concept, just like generally the idea of looking at systems and their consequences as not just like, oh, okay, well, individual people. It's like almost like, I think critical theory is like almost like the opposite of great man theory, right? Where great man theory is like, oh yeah, individual people just individually decide to do things, right? It's like, no. Anyway, I believe that that's the case. I have not read critical theory. I'm familiar with a lot of different things, and which names they go by are sometimes get muddied in my head. But I think critical theory is basically the theory, putting into practice the idea that systemic outcomes are not necessarily, or they're not necessarily the result of any individual actors needing to do anything individually that causes the act deliberately. So like, you can have a system that has absolutely no racists. Well, critical race theory is a component of critical theory, right? Like, it's a subsection. So critical race theory is basically the idea that you can have racist outcomes without any racists being involved. You don't need a racist to have a racist outcome, right? Redlining in the past has created a situation where if you treat everyone the same today, you are reproducing racist outcomes because the system was built to be racist. You understand? Like, if you look at large portions of the United States, the black population has a negative, like on average, has a negative net worth, right? And the reason for that has nothing to do with them. It has to do with the fact that all of the value that like low-level, like working-class people have, all of the value that they have is in their home. The net worth of most boomers, and by extension their millennial children, is in their landed property, right? The house they live in is where their actual net worth comes from. So what happens when the current generation is structurally denied from getting access to new property because they refuse to build anything new because it'll reduce the property value of the old people, and an entire race of people was denied access to owning a home a generation ago. Well, systemically, you create a situation where you don't have any value. There's no net worth in black communities because being black is hereditary. Fun fact. So if your parents, and so is wealth. Wealth is also hereditary, right? You inherit wealth from your parents. You inherit property from your parents. So if you take a group of people and you deny them access to property, you also deny their children access to that same property. So a thing that was done by racists, like at this point, 50, 100 years ago, you don't have to do anything that's explicitly racist today to generate an outcome that is extremely racist, right? And the reason for that is not incidental, right? There's a lot of people who are explicitly trying to create a racist outcome, right? They just are using different words for it because it's unpopular to admit that you're a racist today. Though the numbers on that are changing, right? Like, don't expect the masks to stay on. I mean, a lot of the masks have already come off, but don't expect any of those masks to stay on over the course of the next 30 years. But yeah. Let's confirm that I am thinking of critical theory correctly. Critical theory. Let's see. That is a terrible overview. Look at me remembering shit. Critical theory is a social, historical, and political school of thought and philosophical perspective which centers on analyzing and challenging systemic power relations in society, arguing that knowledge, truth, and social structures are fundamentally shaped by power dynamics between dominant and oppressed groups. Let's fucking go. But yeah, critical theory applies not just to things like race. Critical theory also applies to gender, so there's like critical gender theory. Stuff like that. But like critical gender theory is not something that's going to be like basically anytime you have a power group, like anytime you have power group relationships, critical theory will apply, right? So as long as you have like in groups and out groups, some people who are empowered and some groups who are disempowered, it applies. It applies the most strongly in like the easiest examples to demonstrate critical theory are the nature of the bourgeois itself, right? So like the fact that you have a bunch of people who are socialized to only interact with each other. Like rich people do not interact with poor people. They do not share the same spaces as poor people, right? They will not see poor people. Dynamics of, okay, well, who's in the room with like people who are making decisions, right? Like critical theory can be applied to like capitalist structures broadly, but if we're being honest, like there's already a bunch of theory written on that. Like the understanding of the relationship between power and capital is something that's well written on. You don't need critical theory to describe it. But what critical theory does that's important is that critical theory takes the stuff that was very relevant to comprehending capitalism and creates a framework that makes it comprehensible on a broader scale, that makes it make more sense, like to allows you to think about it in other ways, right? Like it's not like people like Marx weren't like racist assholes, right? Like they did not have like intersectional, theory built in, and like how bad they were, is probably up for debate. I don't know enough about the specific evils of whatever the fuck people like Marx were up to at the time to like really comment too strongly on any of that. But basic gist is that critical theory is a very useful tool to explain the problems that capitalism obviously has, and that you can pretty easily explain to a child. It's harder to explain it to an adult who's been indoctrinated into a capitalist system. But to a child, it's fairly intuitive what the problems are with capitalism if you just explain them to them, right? Like it's fairly intuitive. The relationships are pretty obvious. Like this is stuff that you can handle fairly intuitively, right? Like I didn't know any theory when, I was writing my book where, like, I had one of the characters ask, "Oh, who do you have more in common with your fellow countrymen?" Or sorry, who does the like noble, the nobility of that other city have more in common with you, or the rich people from a different country, right? Like that is not. It doesn't require a lot of theoretical comprehension to feel pretty confident going, oh yeah, I guess capitalists have a lot of collective a lot of collective interests, right? That they share with each other and don't share with anybody else. But anyway, so critical theory can be used to describe the power between nation states. Like the relationship between like the imperial core, which is the countries that benefit from international trade, versus the imperial periphery, which is countries that are exploited by the countries in the imperial core and who don't really get anything out of it, right? Or if they get something out of it, they get very little, right? So, and that's like something that is probably controversial to say in some circles, because it's like, what? You're telling me that poor countries don't benefit from having really garbage, low-level manufacturing work and needing to install suicide nets to prevent their workers from committing suicide in the factories? What? This isn't good for that country? No, actually it's not. It's not great for those countries. There's ways that you can do those things that are still exploitative, but which actually do benefit the local population. But predominantly, if you look at resource extraction in the bulk of the world, most of the resource extraction that's done is done in a fashion that is unambiguously hostile to the people who live there, right? Like, it's like not... it's deliberately ensuring that the exploitation can continue indefinitely into further generations, right? The mask of like civilization building overseas has mostly slipped at this point. People will very rarely pretend that they ever intend for places like Vietnam to become a first world country. There's no like pretense that that's the intention of like global markets these days, right? Like that's just not, they don't pretend that that's their goal. They say, oh yeah, well if you do this thing, then we won't kill you all. Which, admittedly, that can be a very compelling argument. That can be a very compelling argument, It is in fact nice to not have the American army obliterate your country. I think, personally. Speaking as someone who comes from a country that the American army is about to obliterate. Maybe not. We'll see. Any news on the Marines in LA? Come on, buddy. I need you to get to the right place so that I can kill you. Put this away. I'm not going to pour it. Oh, we aggroed another one. Okay. Okay, we got you. Oh, we fucked it up. Okay, this is an expert swordsman. I'd love to kill this here and get the hell out of dodge. I don't know if it's going to be feasible, but we'll see. Okay, I'd love to kill all of you and get out of here. I don't know if that's possible. I think it might be. We're going to backtrack to here. Okay, we got the big hit. That's great. We're out of mana, but that's okay. We only have 2 targets. Oh boy. I don't know who the other target is either. I don't know what that is. Because it's not one of these. Okay, it's the other expert. Oh fuck, you came around this side! Rude! How dare you. You sneaky. You a sneaky beaky. Okay, can I... I'm going to try to pull this to the entrance without pulling anybody else out. If I could get this to die away from where it was before, that would be excellent. And it would be even better if I could actually kill the rest of these two, but I don't know that I'm going to be able to get that much mana. But now these are going to spawn in that hallway, which is fewer enemies spawning in this hallway, which is important. The more enemies that are spawning in this hallway, the harder it is to get by them, so... Because the spawn points for the enemies, for the Broodlords, or the Broodlings, are this place that enemy spawned. So when each enemy splits, they create a new spawn point for their sub-thingers. I have great news. Okay, I have less great news. I think that if I try to go this way, those are going to pull out. I don't think they're going to stay stuck there. If they do, they do. I'm going to leave. I'm going to leave. I'm going to try to kill this thing. Unfortunately, I couldn't just go through the back because the back is closed now because we went out this way. So my hope here is that I can kill this away from where it started. If I can kill it away from where it started, there we go, then regardless of what else happens, we should be able to very easily blow these up because we just have a lot more space to play with. Are you please gonna die?
Never seen one before.
This is a terrible idea.
Never seen one before.
We're doing it anyway. Okay, we got you dead. I'm gonna die every time. I deserved to die there. Fully deserved to die, but we didn't.
Let's get out.
So we got that down. We got that whole cluster down. So those expert swordsmen are no longer a problem. What time is it? It is 6 a.m. So we have until midnight before everything goes to shit. Let's see. Right. So there's 2 of you. Let's start over there. We're not killing you in this engagement, so we're going to invis up, and we're going to run past them. Whew. Okie dokie.
Ready to use.
We're going to try to just burn through. Should I do something a little scarier? What happens if I do this?
Now.
You do that. Okay. The more you know.
Okay, so we just need to do exactly what we intended to do right from the start. But it's good that we checked that, because that could have been a much more fast and easy way to accomplish that objective. So it's not going to work, but it was good to check and make sure that it won't work. So we're just popping through here. We're going to grab this. We are going to aggro these and stand here, I guess. Where do we need to stand for you? Stand over here, maybe? I hate how comfortable they are splitting up. Like, I want them to be together so that I don't have to worry so much about them. Let's see. This music reminds me so strongly of Parasite Eve. Why was Parasite Eve such a strong formative memory for me? What the fuck? Everything reminds me of Parasite Eve. It's crazy. This is an issue. That was very rude of you to just wait until the last second to do that. It's also very rude of you to hit the dragon. Because now I don't have any DPS. We're gonna just reload. We don't need to waste time. Like, we can get to the entrance and leave, but we don't have any reason to bother, I don't think. Okay, so what are we gonna do here? We do have Paralyze. I wonder if that would be useful. I should probably swap to single target damage spells for the people that matters for. People who are into that sort of thing. Oh, you died?
Badly.
How did that happen? Can we? We might be able to make this happen. It would be great if we could actually kill this thing here. Oh, we're gonna kill this one. Okay, perfect. So both of these are now spawning fairly far away. We don't have any AoEs left. We're gonna just pop out. Nice. We got it. Okay, so we now have 2 packs that are fairly weak and easy to kill. So this should go fairly smoothly. It would be really nice to have any mono regen on my Lich. You know, like Raven. Could really do with... I think that having these that close is not a big issue. So we're just going to pop out of here. We're going to cast Invis again. Our goal is basically to pop in and blow those up. Let's cast. Let's save this under dungeon, and immediately try to burst these down. Once this one dies, it's dead for good. There's no
Never seen one before.
Thinger there, so that's fine.
I knew that.
First one's down. Pop out. Whew. And we can actually we can set you to rotate again. We do have the potential to cast, what is that spell called? It's not, one of these is Ice Blast and one of these is not. Ice Bolt? Not Ice Bolt. It was Ice Bolt that hit that hard, not Ice Blast. Ice Blast would never. Oh, that did not take a lot of damage, actually. Let's actually do single target, maybe?
Ready to.
We can't actually train here. So what I'm optimally looking for here... These are actually getting to me pretty fast. I don't really love this positioning. I think I actually might want to reload this and just invis my way in, rather than fight them with them just blocking. They're positioned in such a way there that it's not easy to get to them. I guess I probably shouldn't have done that before I had an escape route. That's in that room. Let's lock you in. Let's lock you in. There we go. But yeah, critical theory is interesting because it's like a kind of like it's a very useful
Ready to.
framework for thinking about the world, and it is explicitly a threat to systems of power in a way that like more conventional means of describing like those relationships are. Like saying that sometimes individual people are racist and bad is not a meaningful threat to a system that relies on systematic exploitation. Because, like, oh, well, obviously, yes, some people are bad, and we can solve that problem by making it illegal to be bad, and you can just make it so that, okay, people aren't able to be bad now. Problem solved, right? And you can do those kinds of, like, you can make sort of, like, performative, like... You can make performative sacrifices of individuals, right? You can go, okay, well, Jeffrey Epstein was bad, but he doesn't represent a fundamental rot that doesn't go away when he does, right? Like, that the threat to the system is not the idea that people like Jeffrey Epstein are bad. It's the idea that the system demands that people like Jeffrey Epstein exist. That it is that there is going to be a Jeffrey Epstein, and you cannot stop there from being a Jeffrey Epstein without changing the fundamental incentive structures of the system itself. Right? That is a threat to like systemic power in a way that, like, again, like, okay, we periodically arrest. Oh, that's not good. Save game corrupted. That was a lot of fatal exceptions. Looks like it's fine. I think that was on the autosave. So, like, something went wrong with the autosave. I should make a secondary save. We're going to load this. We're not going to save over danger just in case there is something wrong with this save that I'm not seeing. But we're going to save over caster nonsense. The reason I'm not saving over the other one is because I might have to backtrack to that. I don't expect that I will. I think I opened the door like immediately after saving in a way that was like a very, very low probability of some overlap happening where it just got confused on the second save. Very spooky. I think what we're going to do... This is a single expert, right? So we have to kill you in solo terms. Then, oh no, we have a group of 3 over here as well. We've now got them spread out throughout the building so much that we have like a actual logistical nightmare to deal with. These broodling. It's almost as if that's the whole goddamn point of the enemy type. It's almost like it's by design. But it isn't.
Let's take it. Beats me.
We are doing fine.
Fuck.
Okay.
We'll be back.
We're not kidding.
You see?
We will be back. We're not gonna stay. We're not gonna stay. We're gonna leave. We'll come back once we finish. Getting people conscious, all that jazz. You're probably gonna wake up in like 2 seconds. You're so good and strong, Cassowary. Cassowary, why so strong? Okay, so we can save the game. We can save it under caster nonsense. We can start saving again normally after we've like confirmed that we're not getting errors again for a while. To do this and oops, yeah, you exist. I forgot. I was like just gonna shoot into that corner. It's like no, you're not gonna shoot in that corner. Actually, that's not how that works. Please. Yeah, unfortunately, this other one is just barely close enough that it's going to reach me before... Oh, shit. Before I kill this one. I guess I maybe just need to get very lucky with crits on Cassowary. If I crit every hit with Cassowary, I'll kill that thing in time. It's fine. That's a viable strategy. Okay, we can save the game. We're finally getting through that room. We actually still have a couple of rooms left to clear. We're not actually that close to done with the dungeon, but you know, it's fine. We can swap to this, and do we have the thing on? We do now. Don't think the others need to switch to anything. I think we can probably kill this before it gets to the other room. It would be nice. Oh, that's a problem. Pseudo spawn point. Subsequent spawn failure reason. Up values of pseudo. Is it because you're standing right on top of that desk? This is a very long one. Oh, subsequent spawn failure reasons. Monsters generated in a wall. Okay, we will copy paste this. What is this dungeon called? What's the actual name of it? Oh, I can't send this entire error message at once. I have to split it into multiple messages. Because I don't have Discord Nitro for only $10.99 a month. Okay. Control C, Control V. Okay, never mind. Couldn't spawn monster, dude. Okay. Okay, we'll cut it off at local. No, arguments of pseudo spawn point, I guess. Okay, so we're looking for arguments of pseudo spawn point. Could not be delivered. These. Okay, so I cannot copy this into the thing. I'll just copy this into Notepad. The bug report thing is not accepting it. That's fine. Discord's like, this looks like some bot shit. I don't think that we need this to go through. And I'm like, but we do need it to go through. It's important. Okay. Spawn bug silver cove. Okay, we will find out what. Okay. I'm gonna reload because we killed that thing. It's not even that close, which is weird. Let's see. Huh. Interesting. I'm gonna load. We'll see if that happens again, no matter where it's standing. I'm curious to see, because it looks kind of like it's that this one actually spawned in a wall. This one looks like it spawned inside that wall, actually. So I'm wondering if the reason it's giving that error is actually tied to this thing's initial spawn being like, it's spawning in error. Oh no, it was standing under this probably, right? Is that where it was? It was underneath that. So it wasn't, nope. Nope, maybe I was right. Nope, I think I was right. It's actually because I think its initial spawn was in the wrong location. So that means that we're not going to get another 3 of these, I think? Because that was definitely not... That was just sitting right here. This is not a problem location. So... Now the question is that because of an error with the save? But I don't think so. I think I'm not going to worry about it. I'm sure it's fine. Oh, this one's also doing it. Oh, that's weird. This one spawned 2 of the 3. Okay. There's some weird shit going on with these broodlings. I'm gonna reload this. I'm gonna see if killing them in a different room helps. Like, it would be nice to be able to just kill them here.
I need healing.
It doesn't matter. I want to kill it for the sake of killing it. I'm not going to kill it. I don't have enough mana. Or I don't have enough damage into it. We're going to try killing this in a different room. I really hope that this doesn't require that we reload. Because that would really suck. I mean, these are actually experts. That's pretty rough for me, actually. These ones spawned fine, or did they? Is that 2 or 3? Oh, it is 3. Okay, so 3 of them spawned there. Those are fine. Is it this creature is bugged? Is it the location being bugged? I just don't know. Just wasting my shots. Can't be wasting mom's spaghetti. Okay, let's see if this... This is now in a place that we know things spawn fine. Okay, things spawn... Okay, it's that room. Well, that's unfortunate for us. Because we want them to spawn in that room, actually. That would be better for us for them to spawn there. Okay, well, we've got another one cleared. We can save under caster nonsense. And this is going to be a bit of a rough sell here. Okay, one's down.
Let's get out of.
I should not have stayed as long as I did. It's fine. There was a chance that I get clipped as I'm turning. Okay, we can save the game. Caster nonsense. Blah, 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 blah. And that one's toast. Okay, we're not going to get this without fight. We did get it down eventually. Okay, the lowest tier ones don't hit that hard, so... Like, we can take the hit and just get knocked unconscious on most of our characters. They're not that threatening, because they're not just, like, eradicating people. Alright, later, Celestial. Let's see here. I'm gonna send a message to... let's see. What is this dungeon called? Okay, we're gonna check the next enemy, and we're gonna try to kill them in the room here, and see if we can duplicate that error. That's our goal right now. Those can't actually get to me, I just realized. So it should be fairly trivial, I think, to kill the rest of these because of their... We're going to wait. We want them to get into this room, preferably close to the middle. We want them to die there. And it is giving me this error. Okay. Perfect. I feel fairly confident that it's that room, and it's a large section of the room. Okay, give me a second. We had some other bug as well, right? Okay. I've put both the things up. I guess I should probably pull chat back up. Hi. Hi. I can see you again. I'm not typing random bullshit. We are talking once again. Okay, so this should be fairly simple from here. We can basically clear these in this hallway here. Ooh, that's a concern. The basically hope is that we can kill one of these while it's in the hallway and not have to worry about the middle room at all. And that's not going to happen. We need to stop DPS, unfortunately. And, okay, it was too close to the middle of the room. Okay. That was pretty far out, but wasn't far out enough. I think it would probably be preferable if I could if I only have the one, then I don't need the AoEs.
Ready.
We got another frame of motion. Oh god! You know what? It occurs to me that we do need the AoEs because we need the AoEs to hit stun things that spawn. You know, you could have told me about it. You could have told me about it. It's fine. Don't worry about it. It's all good. So we got those to spawn correctly. I'm curious if something about that error was what caused the save corruption or vice versa. These are fine. They don't spawn anything new, so we don't have to worry about killing them. We can kill them wherever we want. Okay, we're just going to pop out. We can save this. We've got one more cleared. And are the enemies in that room the bottom tiers or those mid tiers? I don't know if those are experts or just normal swordsmen. We're getting close, no matter what. That is the one thing that we do know for sure, is that we are, we're getting there. Perfect, let's get the fuck out of here.
Let's get up.
Let's get out of here. You're going to swap to AoE. And you know what? I'll live life dangerously. I'll leave the AoE on rotation. That's fine. That's all good. Come back to me, Rock Blast. I don't know. That might have been the Rock Blast that we fired him. Okay. Dead. Okay. So, we cleared out another pack. And by pack, I mean one enemy that turned into a pack. We have a little bit more to play with over here. What time is it? It's 11 a.m. So we should be able to finish the dungeon and then teleport the hell out of here, which will be nice. That'll be great. Fuck. Okay, we didn't get punished. We'll switch to single target.
Ready to rock.
and then immediately not hit the enemy because we switched to single target and then shot into the wall. How cool is that for us? Oh, that's rude. You cannot just stay sitting there. You gotta. Okay, we got that one down. We can't just rotate back, actually. We have space. So, if it seems like they're getting a little close, we don't have a lot of mana, so if it seems like they're getting close, we can pull out. But it might make the most sense to simply...
Ready to
secure the kill. Where's the third one? Okay, don't move. Oh, the third one went in that room. Alright, we're gonna pull out. We're gonna save the game. We are very close to finishing this dungeon. There might be some more bosses. I don't know. This boss room might not be the only boss room. Okay. And we're out of mana, so I'm just going to go save. And then we will come back, get this done. Life is good. We're making good progress here. We're going to finish this dungeon, and then we will start working on other stuff. Let's see what we get when we open this door. I just don't remember what enemy types are here. And we'll just have to see. Yeah, these are those here. So this should be fairly smooth if I can remember how doors work. And corridors even. Okay. There we go. Blades and Fix 2800. Moving on out. Okay, moving back in. But I am curious to see how long it takes before the other characters start catching up to Cassowary again. I'm anticipating that Cassowary is going to start falling off from about here. That's my expectation. We've got a very strong
never seen one.
gauntlet on them right now that is about the best we're gonna get, and they don't have a lot of synergies that they are gonna be able to stack up in terms of like legendaries and stuff, I don't think, to make them like really go crazy. So it's my expectation that this is about like, this is the point where other people start to catch up once they, you know, are able to
Ready to use.
get their shit together. Okay. And eventually start surpassing the dragon. I don't know what would be needed to stop that from happening. Because, like, as a class, they just don't have that many pieces of gear, and they don't have that many individual synergies. It's so weird, that Expert Swordsman didn't explode into a bunch of minions? I'm confused. Shouldn't that have split into 3 Broodlings? Isn't that how swordsmen work in this game? I feel like we've established that's how swordsmen work in this game. What's going on? I'm so confused. We're going to go in this room. We're going to check if this is everybody dead. It sure is. We hit everybody with that fire blast. It was beautiful. We got, like, what, 242k or some madness like that? All right, let's open this secret door. And then we will not open this door. We will instead go down here. We're going to open this door. We're going to be super cozy about it. So, we're going to cast telekinesis on this door. And then we're going to fire breath and fire blast and all of the things. We got a map complete message. The map ain't actually complete yet. Y'all know we ain't done. We still got enemies to kill. Enemies to kill. Are you stuck? You're gonna release yourself? Yep. Sure, you sure are. Of course you are. Why wouldn't you do that? Okay, we're gonna save because we got completion and we're in the green. So we're gonna save this under caster's. We're gonna save this under caster's save. I feel very confident that we're fine. We're fine. Nothing's wrong with our save file. We definitely haven't run into more bugs since that are a little bit concerning. That has not happened. It's all fine. Okay, we need to loot these chests quick. And now realizing that I forgot to do a step in this process, but that's okay. Okay, let's rock blast. Okay, it didn't spawn nearly as many enemies as I expected. That magician died so fast. Really? Is it just in the ones there? Oh, we're in the green. Interesting. I thought that it would spawn ones in the front thing too. Alright, we're set. We can save the game, and now we just have to loot the room, and we definitely don't have a problem where we don't have any space for anything. But, you know, just in case, maybe we should leave this place behind and go hit G and sell a bunch of stuff. Let's just because for no reason. It's not like we need it. Like we got plenty of inventory space. So it's fine. It's fine. Don't worry about it. We're just. It's fine. Don't worry about it. It's all good.
No room.
We have message scrolls showing up in inventory 4. We have inventory 5 full of crafting materials? What the fuck happened? Ooh boy. Okay. Yeah, our inventory is very full. Okay. I was thinking that maybe when we did the sort, we'd have like enough space that I could just like justify trying to loot everything, but we don't have any space. Like, we have a little bit more than it looks like we have because it doesn't use the one size things very efficiently. But yeah, it's fun. Also, what? Oh no. Oh no, we still need like a full level. That's fine. We can get the Ankh and turn in the Ankh. And that'll be good. Okay, let's go to a armor store first, because I'm standing in front of... This should go to white.
Closed.
Closed. Protection services.
It's closed.
They're also closed. Where's my armor shop? Give me There's the armor store. Okay, Abdul's discount armor.
How you doing? How you doing?
Okay. Okay. Okay, so we've gotten through a bunch of armor. It's actually opened up a ton of inventory space. One thing that we need is to get to. This is Blade's End, right?
Ready
So
to
it is
learn
here.
something new?
I can't move anything here. Duels discount weapons.
Finest weapons in the land.
Okay, Conan, we're not selling. We need to get back to Harmondale and actually put stuff away. We're gonna finally beat the inventory boss. That's gonna be a thing that we do. We're gonna do that this stream. We're gonna pick up all the stuff from the place that we are heading back to, and once we've done that, okay, so
I have too much. No room. I have too much. No room.
okay.
No room.
So we're looting all the things. Let's see how much money we make. We've already made like 200 grand here.
No room.
We've been significantly limited by our finances for a while now. I think there's a thing in the pews, right? Is there not a thing in the pews? Is this not the place that the pews thing is? There's a staff in the pews in one of these buildings. I think it's a different chapel. Okay.
I have too much.
Yeah, we're getting there.
No room.
We're gonna get through all the shinies. And you know what? You know what? No. Because I'm feeling lazy, because we just spent a huge amount of time here, we're actually going to just put everything into person slot 1. They're getting all the things. I'm not even rolling for it. We're cheating. Mine is just getting everything because I feel like it. Don't worry about it. Don't even worry about it. We're just giving all the barrels to Mina. That way I just don't have to think too hard. We're gonna save this under dungeon. We'll start saving under danger eventually. But I don't need to do it at this exact moment. We're actually getting a lot of stuff. I'm a little concerned. Nah, we're fine. We're not even on our second inventory yet. I mean, technically we are on our second inventory, exactly, but
No room.
we're not. I don't consider the first inventory a proper inventory right now because it just doesn't put any space there. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the facial expression is not indicative of anything. We'll find out. Okay. Done there. We got some plate armor. Boom, 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 bum, bum, bum.
No rules,
We made a lot of money here. Holy shit! Actually, we're gonna get to 1 million again. Wait, do you spawn every time? Oh, these apparently spawn every time I do this. I didn't realize that these would spawn multiple times. With that being the case.
We've done it.
Did I already kill the wizard? Oh, the wizard got killed in the initial volley. Alright, I'm not going to worry about the... Wait. Yes, we need to... So we need to clear the ones in the back here. Okay, we're now in the green. Save the game again. And we're gonna not loot those boxes. Maybe if we loot the other boxes, it'll spawn enemies in a different location. Maybe if we loot the boxes in the back. Because I feel like there were more enemies spawning in the past, but I'm not going to worry about it. If enemies spawn when we loot some of those chests, that's fine. Not a big deal. I don't like the fact that we respawned one of the chests twice. That's not what I'm looking to do, but it's fine.
I have too much. No room.
Can't carry it.
Okay, we're on inventory 5? Oh, shit. So yeah, we actually are way further along than I thought. So this is done. We can go over here. Bop, bop.
I have too much. I have too much.
Okay. All set.
Jump. We don't need it. This item's weak.
God, I'm now remembering the other dumb political philosophies. There's the God Emperor thing, and then there's also the like the like micro feudal states, like the micro dictatorships, where I don't know who it is that proposes. It might be Yarvin again. I don't even know. These people are so nuts. But like one of these people. Their particular ravings are about, like, the optimal government form is for every city to be run by, like, a god emperor. Like, okay, each city gets their own, like, god emperor, and then, like, it's like, why is politics so dumb? Why is it so important? It's so dumb. Oh, you're not here anymore. Interesting. I guess maybe we need to bring the Ankh to Iron Forge. That's it. I think we need to bring it to Iron Iron Fist. And I think we actually have 2 quests to turn in Iron Fist, now that I think about it. So let's just TP to New Sorpigal. I'm going to be very lazy, and I'm not going to use the teleporter. I hope that you all can forgive me for my gross malfeasance in simply walking. So we're gonna pop over there. My hope is that turning in these quests, we have multiple quests. There's no way that we don't get enough EXP out of this. We're gonna turn in all of our quests here, or at least we'll just turn enough quests, I guess, to get ourselves to the next level in 8. That will allow us to head to 8 after this. That'll be the next destination. So we're turning in Kilburn's shield. We are probably turning in the Ankh, assuming that I remembered what I'm supposed to do with it. And the Pearl of Purity as well, probably. Do we have a shield on you? We do not. Is Kilburn's shield? It sure is. Okay, we have the Ankh. We have all this shit in one place. So.
Master Nikolai Iron Fist.
Okay,
Prince
Pearl of
and
Purity.
heir to the throne of Enroth.
Thought Balthazar. Oh, he's dead, is he? Oh, well, I guess I'll keep an eye on it. Okay. Okay, so we're now ready for. We're now ready to go back to there. We will come back here and turn in these quests once we have gotten that. The first thing on our agenda, though, is we're just going to head over to Might and Magic 7. We're heading to Antagaric. And we are going to go into Castle Harmondale. But Castle Harmondale hasn't been repaired yet. Should we use Castle Harmondale now? Nah, we'll wait until it's repaired. It's fine. It's fine. We'll deal with that later. Who needs it? It's not like we have basically the exact amount of time that we need. We should just do it now. We should just turn this. We should just put this stuff over here. Don't worry. It's fine. It's fine. We're going to just start chucking artifacts into these boxes. These front boxes, I think, are going to be artifacts. I think that's the way I want to handle that. So this is Shireel. We definitely don't need Shireel. We don't need Volcano. We don't need Conan. Devil and Dragon Slayer. Don't need Mordred. Can we put Mordred and...
There isn't any room.
We can't put the Hellcleaver in. Okay. I don't think we need to hang on to Yoruba with our current goals, so we will throw Yoruba in here. Herondale's Lost Shield. Hellcleaver. Okay. Is that all of our artifacts that we need to throw away? This is an entire inventory of nothing but potion bottles. We need to do that, actually. We have access to GM, I think. So that's a thing we should probably get done. Oh, we used only one of these Stone to Flesh scrolls, didn't we? We didn't actually talk to any of the other elves, I don't think. Those poor elves. Let's see, they're just hanging out. Petrified, no problem. Okay, so we have done that, and what level can we get to? We can get to 148. So we are going to not town portal. That'll just take us here. We're just going to leave. We've got two chests worth of artifacts removed from our inventory. I could do the same with the legendaries that I simply know that I do not need. But I don't think I'm going to do that quite yet because it's going to involve wandering around a bit more. Maybe I should do it actually because it's going to involve wandering around a bit more. We have 14 minutes left. What else are we going to do with 14 minutes of time? Well, now that I've done this, maybe he's going to sell some bullshit. Okay, so what time is it? 6:15.
It's closed.
This is closed. I guess we're probably not going to sell anything right now. Because we're not going to get...
It is closed.
Okay. So, we need to head back to Might and Magic 8. We need to finish up Murmurwood, I believe. Trying to think if there's anything else I can do to like turn in quests or something in there. I don't think there is. So I think we're just going to head to Jadaim. And I think we're going to save the game. I'm actually going to end the stream a few minutes early today. I think that that's how I want to handle it. Because I need to go to the bathroom. And I have 13 minutes left. So rather than wait 13 minutes to do that, I think I'm going to end stream early. You know, you either get a break mid-stream or I start needing a break toward the end of stream. But we should be able to be a little bit more normal in schedule over the course of the next couple of weeks. I should hopefully be able to get used to sleep deprivation. We're probably going to get used to it again. It's fine. Who needs sleep? Man, you know, look, I'm just as healthy now as I was when I was 20. I can definitely get away with sleep deprivation just like I could when I was 20. It's fine. No, if I get tired, I'll just take naps or whatever. We're going to exist in a fugue state where we are never dry for the next, 2 weeks of our life. It's going to be great. So, that's going to be it for today. Thank you for watching. I hope to see you next time when we'll see if I manage to figure out a way to shave while wet. Later, folks.